Hey guys, welcome to the Light Stand, and this is the last episode of the year. We're releasing it tomorrow, which is New Year's Eve. 2023, we just wrapped up with a post of how it went. We started this in February. I think our first episode was in February of 2023. Complete step of faith. Just going on obedience and everything. And it's so crazy that we ended up in the top 50% of Buzzsprout podcasts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
With only 28 episodes.
Yeah.
So nothing that we did. It's 100% God.
Right.
100% to his credit.
Amen.
33 countries, dude.
That's awesome.
That is crazy.
Shout out to all of our listeners. We appreciate you all. And I know 2024 is going to be a year of blessings, and the topics that we'll be talking about in the new year are going to be amazing and very helpful to you all. Please, anything that you guys can share that you guys would like to listen to more, or a guest speaker, bring it on. I know we've been like broken records saying this over and over, but guys, we need you guys to tell us, because if we don't know, we're just going to talk whatever we think is good, So if there's something that you guys want to hear, if you guys want to hear jokes, then let us know.
That is right.
Yes. Dad jokes. I know that's Art's specialty. So
yeah, I have a coworker that absolutely adores dad jokes.
Yeah.
She doesn't, but I'm a pain in her rear with them, so it's funny. But anyhow, we want to start this episode and finish the year with prepping you for next year.
Yep.
So this episode is going to be about setting goals. How to set goals. A lot of people end up...
Really quickly, just to add to the topic is goals and dream boards. Because I would like to talk to you all about dream boards. I don't know if you've heard of that term, but it's something that we've practiced for many years. And it helped us out. I think everything that was on our dream board, we've accomplished and we actually received. So seeing those goals like in paper and seeing them every day, guys, it does make a difference. So we'll be talking about that too.
100%.
Yep.
A lot of people end up in life where they don't want to because they fail to plan.
Yeah.
So there's a saying that goes, people don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. They just wake up every day, live a life of routine. You wake up, dreading your alarm clock, dreading getting up. You go to work, you come home, you turn on the TV, you watch Netflix, you eat dinner, and you go home, you go to bed.
Just a habit.
And you wake up, you go to work, you come home, you watch TV, you eat dinner, and you go to bed. And you wake up, and it's just, you just end up like that.
Yeah.
As kids, everybody has dreams. You walk into a kid's room, and you see a ton of dreams. You see Lamborghini posters. You see mansion posters. You see planes and rockets and, dream.
Yeah, their favorite artist.
Like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But then
we grow up.
We grow up, and then we come into the quote unquote real world, and those dreams just kind of go away. Yeah. And you stop dreaming. There's another quote that says a lot of people die at 25, but they are not buried until they're 80.
Oof. Dang.
And yeah, and it's so sad because and what they mean by that is at 25 years old, you graduated from college, you have your degree, and you enter the workforce. And now you're just a producer. Now you're just a machine.
Yeah.
A cog in the machine wheel that you just get out. Your entire life revolves around a paycheck.
Yep.
You're chasing a dollar bill, and it's a very sad life. Yeah. It's purposeless.
Yep.
So setting goals, is going to start with a purpose. And to start that,
Really quickly, can I add something? This is a quote that I read, and it's awesome. It's very true. It says, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." So, like you said earlier, like you wake up and you're like, "Okay, I go to work now," and you have that wishful thinking of like, "Oh, I wish I had, I don't know, a different car, or I wish I had a different job." It's like, write these things down. Like, write them in your mirror so that you can get up and see them every day. And you're like, oh, shoot, I need to make a plan so that I can achieve these goals and dreams of mine.
Yep.
Because if you're just wishing, I mean, that's how it's going to go. You're just wishing. It's just a thought in your head. But you actually have to write it down and visualize it every day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's power in writing it down and having it on your wall. Natalie will dive into that. One of my favorite books, guys, is a book by Simon Sinek, and it's called Start With Why. And I'm going to read you a little bit of an excerpt here because it's so important to your goal setting. So if you want to make not just 2024 the best year of your life, but every year the best year of your life, it starts with your why. So, quote, "The stories that follow are of those individuals and their organizations that naturally embody this pattern. They are the ones that start with why." Okay, number one, the goal was ambitious. Public interest was high. Experts were eager to contribute. Money was readily available. Armed with every ingredient for success, Samuel Pierpont Langley set out in the early 1900s to be the first man to pilot an airplane. Highly regarded, he was a senior officer at the Smithsonian Institute, a mathematics professor who had also worked at Harvard. His friends included some of the most powerful men in government and business, included Andrew Carnegie, Alexander Graham Bell. Langley was given a $50,000 grant from the War Department to fund his project, a tremendous amount of money for the time. He pulled together the best minds of the day, a veritable dream team of talent and know-how. Langley and his team used the finest materials and the press followed him everywhere. People all over the country were riveted to the story, waiting to read that he had achieved his goal. With the team he had gathered and ample resources, his success was guaranteed. Or was it? A few hundred miles away, Wilbur and Orville Wright were working on their own flying machine. Their passion to fly was so intense that it inspired the enthusiasm and commitment of a dedicated group in their hometown of Dayton, Ohio. There was no funding for their venture. No government grants, no high-level connections. Not a single person on the team had an advanced degree or even a college education. Not even Wilbur or Orville. But the team banded together in a humble bicycle shop and made their vision real. On December 17, 1903, a small group witnessed a man take flight for the first time in history, beating the very well-funded and very well-educated group. How did the Wright brothers succeed where a better equipped, better funded, and better educated team could not? It wasn't luck. Both the Wright brothers and Langley were highly motivated. Both had a strong work ethic. Both had keen scientific minds. They were pursuing exactly the same goal. But only the Wright brothers were able to inspire those around them and truly lead their team to develop a technology that would change the world. Only the Wright brothers started with why. Number two, quote, "In 1965, students on the campus of the University of California, Berkeley, were the first to publicly burn their draft cards to protest America's involvement in the Vietnam War. Northern California was a hotbed for anti-government and anti-establishment sentiment. Footage of clashes and riots in Berkeley and Oakland beamed around the world, fueling sympathetic movements across the U.S. and Europe. But it wasn't until 1976, nearly 3 years after the end of America's military involvement in Vietnam, that a different revolution ignited. They aimed to make an impact, a very big impact, even challenge the way people perceived how the world worked. But these young revolutionaries did not throw stones or take up arms against an authoritarian regime. Instead, they decided to beat the system at its own game. For Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, the co-founders of Apple Computer, the battlefield was business and the weapon of choice was the personal computer. The personal computer revolution was beginning to brew when Wozniak built the Apple. Just starting to gain attention, the technology was primarily seen as a tool for business. Computers were too complicated and out of the price range of the average individual. But Wozniak, a man not motivated by money, envisioned a nobler purpose for the technology. He saw the personal computer as a way for the little man to take on a corporation. If he could figure out a way to get it in the hands of the individual, he thought, the computer would give nearly anyone the ability to perform many of the same functions as vastly better resourced company. The personal computer could level the playing field and change the way the world operated. Woz designed the Apple I and improved the technology with the Apple II to be affordable and simple to use. No matter how visionary or how brilliant, a great idea or a great product isn't worth much if no one buys it. Wozniak's best friend at the time, the 21-year-old Steve Jobs, knew exactly what to do. Though he had experience selling surplus electronic parts, Jobs would prove to be much more than a good salesman. He wanted to do something significant in the world, and building a company was how he was going to do it. Apple was the tool he used to ignite his revolution. In their first year in business, with only one product, Apple made $1 million in revenue. By year 2, they did $10 million in sales. In their fourth year, they sold $100 million worth of computers.
Wow.
And in 6 years, Apple Computer was a $1 billion company with over 3,000 employees. Jobs and Woz were not the only people taking part in the personal computer revolution. They weren't the only smart guys in the business. In fact, they didn't know much about the business at all. What made Apple special was not their ability to build such a fast growth company. It wasn't their ability to think differently about personal computers. What has made Apple special is that they've been able to repeat the pattern over and over and over. Unlike any of their competitors, Apple has successfully challenged conventional thinking with the computer industry, the small electronics industry, the music industry, the mobile phone industry, and the broader entertainment industry. And the reason is simple. Apple inspires. Apple starts with why. Number 3. Bear with me, guys. This is so good.
Very good.
Quote, he was not perfect. He had his complexities. He was not the only one who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and there were plenty of other charismatic speakers. But Martin Luther King Jr. had a gift. He knew how to inspire people. Dr. King knew that if the civil rights movement was to succeed, if there was to be real, lasting change, it would take more than him and his closest allies. It would take more than rousing words and eloquent speeches. It would take people, tens of thousands of average citizens, united by a single vision to change the country. At 11 a.m. on August 28, 1963, he would send a message to Washington that it was time for America to steer a new course. The organizers of the civil rights movement did not send out thousands of invitations, nor was there a website to check the date. But the people came, and they kept coming and coming. All told, 250,000 people descended on the nation's capital in time to hear the words immortalized by history, delivered by the man who would lead a movement that would change America forever. I have a dream.
Oof.
The ability to attract so many people from across the country of all colors and all races to join together on the right day at the right time took something special. Though others knew what had to change in America to bring out the civil rights for all, it was Martin Luther King who was able to inspire a country to change not just for the good of a minority, but the good for everybody. Martin Luther King started with why. Please note, Martin Luther King said, I have a dream, not I have a plan. So the why, guys, is everything. I'm going to wrap up the book quote here. Quote, there are leaders and there are those who lead. I'm going to read that again. There are leaders and there are those who lead. With only 6% market share in the US and about 3% worldwide, Apple is not a leading manufacturer in home computers yet. The company leads the computer industry and is now a leader in other industries as well. Martin Luther King's experiences were not unique, yet he inspired an entire nation to change. The Wright brothers were not the strongest contenders in the race to take the first manned-powered flight, but they led us into a new era of aviation, and in doing so, completely changed the world that we live in. Their goals were not different than anyone else's, and their systems and processes were easily replicated. Yet the Wright brothers, Apple, and Martin Luther King stand out among their peers. They stand apart from the norm, and their impact is not easily copied. They are members of a very select group of leaders who do something very, very special. They inspire us. And then the book goes on to give an illustration of how to start with why. So if you're listening, well, obviously you're listening. If you can imagine with me, target, the symbol of a target, like a bullseye. Imagine 3 circles. There's a little circle, and then around the little circle there's a medium circle, and around the medium circle there's a bigger circle. Okay, 3 circles. In the middle of the smallest circle, in the bullseye, in the very middle, there's a word. It says why. Under that, in the second circle, there's a word, and it says how. And then in the largest circle, the third circle, there's a word under that, and it says what. So in the middle it says why, and then under that it says how, and then under that it says what. So Simon Sinek, basically, when it comes to starting with why, he says that everybody knows what they do. They start from the outside of the circle in. Everyone knows what they do. Everyone knows how they do what they do. But not everybody knows why they do what they do. And he says, in the book, he talks about, I'm not talking about going a paycheck, because a lot of people will ask, well, why do you go to work? Well, so I can feed my family, so I can bring the bread home, so I can pay my mortgage. It's like, well, that's the outcome of what you do. The outcome of you going to work is you make money so that you can provide for your family. He's like, but that's just a byproduct. That's not a purpose. Right? That's not a real why. That's not a purpose. That's not a passion. He's like, real people, like the ones that I just described, the Wright brothers, MLK, and Apple, they start from the inside out. They start with why they do what they do. And then they figure out how. And then they figure out what. And if you guys want more information on it, I encourage you to YouTube it. It's like a 20-minute speech from Simon Sinek, and he explains those circles in detail. For the sake of the podcast, I'm not going to try to do as amazing of a job as he does. But if you're interested in it, I highly recommend it, especially if you're listening to this, wanting to learn how to set goals. It's so worth your time. Put that Netflix on pause, guys. I promise you, season 27 of Grey's Anatomy is not going anywhere. Super worth that watch. To you, babe.
Yeah, that was awesome, babe. Thank you so much. So back to the goals. There's an acronym called S.M.A.R.T. So what is S.M.A.R.T? So I'm going to give you guys like the term for each letter, and then I'm going to give you guys an example. So SMART is specific or significant. M is measurable or meaningful. A, attainable or action-oriented. R is relevant or rewarding. And T is time-bound or trackable, sorry. So I'm going to give you guys an example like of how you guys can break down SMART with your goals. So in my case, one of my goals for next year is, or a couple of days actually, is to read 12 books for the year. Like that's my goal. If I can read double, perfect. But for sure, I want to do 12 books for the year. So for example, for S, an example would be I want to read a book a month for a year. So that's my specific goal. And
one book a month.
One book a month, yes. And then M, measurable or meaningful, would be that I read 20 minutes every morning or during my lunch every day. So that's specific. And then A, attainable or action oriented. In my example, it would be putting myself a reminder on my phone so that I don't forget to read. And then do not snooze the reminder until I actually do the reading. And then R would be relevant or rewarding. So why is it important to you? Why is it important to me to read these books? I want to read to have a better vocabulary, to expand my knowledge. So that's my relevancy or my reward, that once I finish those 12 books, I'll be like, hey, my vocabulary has expanded. I'm more knowledgeable with certain topics. And then T, I'll start going to sleep earlier starting next week so that I can wake up early, and my first 20 minutes, I can dedicate that time to reading a book. So that's time bound. Like next week, Monday, I'll be starting, actually the night before, go to sleep earlier so that I can wake up with energy and have that time, that extra time to read the book. Yes, sir. And then I also read this quote from Bill Copeland. He's a poet, American poet. He says, "The trouble with not having a goal is that you can spend your life running up and down the field and never score."
Dang.
Yeah.
One more time, like, for the awesome. People in the back.
So the trouble with not having a goal is that you can spend your life running up and down the field and never score.
Facts.
Yeah. And it's so true. It's like we said earlier, you can go your life just living it, paycheck to paycheck, going to work, coming home, watching Netflix. And if you don't have goals, like that's what your life is going to be. You're never going to score that better car. You're never going to score that dream home that you want because you don't have a goal set and you're not writing them down. So instead of you living your life running up and down the, in this case, the field, which is our life, like write them down, guys. So that was an awesome quote.
Big time.
Yep.
There's another book that I'm going to read to you guys from. Mm-hmm. This is shorter, I promise. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big. Yeah, one of my favorite books. This is by David Schwartz. He's a PhD psychologist, and it's an amazing read. Highly recommend that you guys check it out. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do audiobooks. I'm a believer in actual physical book reading because you can highlight, you can make notes. I feel like I grasp it better with a book, like an actual book. I don't know, man. There's just something about it. Right.
I agree.
With your eyes, like seeing the words. I don't know. Anyhow. So the book starts like this, quote, "Permit me to give you just a little background. Several years ago, this is the author. Several years ago, I witnessed an exceptionally impressive sales meeting. The vice president in charge of marketing for this company was tremendously excited. He wanted to drive home a point. He had with him on the platform the leading representative of the organization, a very ordinary-looking fellow, earned in the year just ended a little bit under $60,000. Earnings for the other representatives averaged around $12,000. The executive challenged the group. Here's what he said, quote, "I want you to take a good look at Harry here. Look at him. Now, what's Harry got that the rest of you haven't? Harry earned 5 times the average of all of you. But is Harry 5 times smarter? No. Not according to our personal tests. I checked, personally. They show he's about as average as you all in that department. And did Harry work 5 times harder than you fellows? No. Not according to the reports. In fact, he took more time off than most of you. Did Harry have a better territory? Again, I have to say no. The accounts averaged about the same as all of you. Did Harry have more education? Better health? Again, no. Harry is about as average as any of the average guys around here could be, except for one thing. The biggest difference between Harry and the rest of you, said the vice president. He said the difference is that Harry thinks 5 times bigger than all of you. Then the executive proceeded to show that success is determined not so much by the size of one's brain as it is by the size of one's thinking. This was an intriguing thought, and it stayed with me. The more I observed, the more people I talk with, the deeper I dug into what's really behind success. The clearer was the answer. Case history after case history proved that the size of bank accounts, the size of happiness accounts, the size of one's general satisfaction accounts depends on the size of one's thinking. There is magic in thinking big. If thinking big accomplishes so much, why doesn't everyone think that way? I've been asked this question too many times. Here, I believe, is the answer. All of us, more than we recognize, are products of the thinking around us. Let me read that again. All of us, more than we recognize, are products of the thinking around us. Have you guys ever heard Dime con quién te juntas y te digo quién eres? Have you heard, which is, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are?
Yep.
Okay, so there it is. And much of this thinking is little, not big. All around you is an environment that is trying to tug you down, trying to pull you down to second-class street. You are told almost daily that there are too many chiefs and not enough Indians. In other words, that opportunities lead to nowhere. The opportunities are rare, and it's better to be satisfied with what you have and be content to be the little guy. This is too many chiefs idea. It simply doesn't square with the truth. Leading people in all occupations will tell you, as they told me, that the trouble is there are too many Indians and not enough chiefs. Not enough people want to be leaders. This petty environment says other things too. It tells you whatever will be, that your destiny is outside of your control, that fate is in complete control. So forget those dreams, forget that finer home, forget the special college for your kids, forget the better life. Be resigned, lie down and wait to die. And who hasn't heard that statement that success isn't worth the price? As if you have to sell your soul, your family, your conscience, your set of values to reach the top. But in truth, success does not demand a price. Every step forward pays a dividend. This environment also tells us that there's too much competition for the top spots in life. But is there? Really? A personnel selection executive told me that he receives 50 to 250 times as many applications for jobs that pay only $10,000 a year as for the jobs that pay $50,000 a year. This is to say that there are at least 50 times more competition for the jobs in second class than there are jobs for first class. First Class Avenue, USA, in short, uncrowded street. There are countless vacancies waiting for people like you who dare to think big. And the book goes on, guys, to give many, many, many examples of how simply thinking of an idea differently or thinking of a circumstance differently makes the entire difference. Chapter 2 is one of my favorites and always will be. The title of chapter 2 in this book is called Cure Yourself of Excusitis, the failure disease. And it goes on to say how many people simply give so many excuses. I'm too big, I'm too short, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm too old, I'm too young. I wasn't born in the right family. I wasn't born with the right parents. I wasn't born with the right family. I was born with blue eyes and not green eyes. I was born with brown eyes and not black eyes, right. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's just so many excuses that people use to justify where they are in life. And that's just chapter 2.
Yep.
The title of chapter 3 is Build Confidence and Destroy Fear. The title of chapter 4 is How to Think Big.
And this is, again, the magic of thinking big. By who?
David Schwartz. Chapter 5 is called How to Think and Dream Creatively. Chapter 6 is called You Are What You Think You Are. That's in the Bible. As a man thinketh, so is he. There's truth to this. It's funny. Also in the book of James, it talks about the power of the tongue. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So there's another book. I'm not going to read you from that one because I don't want to bore you guys to death. But it's called Hung by the Tongue. And the picture is a guy hanging, like his tongue is like clasped in like a pair of pliers, and he's literally hanging by his tongue. And basically, what it's illustrating is that your tongue is life and death, literally. So what are you speaking into yourself? Oh my gosh, I can never lose weight. Well, obviously not, because you're speaking it.
Saying that,
yeah, your words are seeds.
Your conscience, your brain doesn't know the difference. That I'm just kidding. Like you've done that to me, where I say it jokingly. I'm like, oh yeah, sarcastically. But your brain doesn't know you're being sarcastic.
Yeah.
So you're speaking it. You're saying it.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's very dangerous.
Yeah, dude. Your brain is a literal computer.
Right.
Supercomputer. And you program it with your words. If you guys have time, shoot. Make time. We all have time. We all have 24 hours a day. Yep. So it's not, I don't have time. Guess what? Read chapter 2. Cure yourself of excusitis and stop making excuses. There's a dude out there. He's known as the Iceman. His name is Wim Hof. Wimhoff. Wim Hof. They have done studies on this guy. He climbed Mount Everest. Obviously not the entire mountain, but he went up Mount Everest like as far as he could without a shirt, in shorts, and without boots, like barefoot.
Wow.
Yeah. He has...
Barefoot. Holy moly.
Yep. No frostbite, no freezing to death, no hyperthermia, no pneumonia, none of that. He makes it a habit to dive into frozen water. He drills holes in the frozen lakes. He drills 2 holes, a couple meters apart, and he will swim under the ice and come out the other hole.
I mean, we're saying this because he's an expert. Like, don't try this at home.
Right.
Like, please don't go, if you live in an area where it's very cold and you have a frozen lake, don't go tomorrow digging up a hole and diving in. Yeah. Like, this takes practice, and he's a professional. He's done it many years.
Right.
So please don't do that
at
home.
Start with a cold shower, guys. Some of y'all can't even handle a cold freaking shower.
Get in your bathtub, get a bunch of ice and do those cold plunges. Yes,
exactly. So Wim Hof, he claims that this ice bath thing, and this is where the whole cold plunge came into play, and now it's all over the internet. I know Joe Rogan is a big fan of cold plunging, 39-degree water, I believe he does, for 3 minutes every single day. Yeah. No matter what, always.
And he's what, 50-something?
54.
He looks great.
He looks amazing.
Yeah.
And he does saunas and like all this stuff. Yeah. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't 100% agree with in his entire thought process, but there's a lot to learn
Right.
from this dude, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I digress. Wim Hof, he claimed that he can control his immune system. And the scientists were like, BS. It's uncontrollable. It's your own thing. And he goes, you're more than welcome to test me. So, and there's a YouTube video on this, guys. Go ahead and look him up. It's amazing. So what they do is they take him to a hospital. They inject him on purpose with some kind of bacteria. I forgot what it is, but this type of virus is supposed to give you a fever within 5 minutes of you being exposed to it. And then you're supposed to have like flu symptoms. You're supposed to get fever. You're supposed to get body chills. You're supposed to even get nausea and vomiting.
Oh gosh.
So they inject him with it, and they just shows him like kind of like doing his little breathing exercise. He has like this breathing thing that he does, and then like a meditation thingy. Long story short, he never got sick.
Oh wow. He went to a hospital?
Yeah. Like that? He was measured. There were scientists everywhere.
Oh, okay. It's like a test.
It's like an actual test controlled laboratory place. Because they wanted to test him. They had all kinds of sensors on him. They were monitoring everything from this guy.
Okay.
Heart rate, body temperature, And it shows the scientists being mind boggled. They're like, how the heck is this guy doing this? This is crazy. Like, we've never seen this before. And to rule out that this guy is like a one-time phenomenon, they tested like 30 of his students with the exact same experiment, because that's what Wim Hof was saying. He's like, I can teach you guys how to take control of your health, how to take control of your, this and that. And they did that, and they duplicated the results with all his students that volunteered. They all got injected, and none of them got sick because they followed his little method.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing to implement with all of US, actually.
Right. So, why did I bring that up? Because of your thinking. Think bigger. Don't limit the amazing creation that you are. You're an amazing creation of God. And I feel like a lot of people just limit themselves to their small thinking. And it goes back to what the book said. Like, a lot of us are product of our environment.
Yeah.
So, and it's so true. So be careful of who your friends are.
Yep.
And there's another quote out there that says, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
I don't think it's just friends. I think it's family too now.
Yeah.
That you have to be careful who you're hanging around with family.
Yes.
Because family can be toxic too. So.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, and then really quickly about the dream boards. I know we used to do the dream boards a lot.
Yep.
We would have them all over the house.
Yep.
The boys would do that too. At that time, we also had a group of people that we would, like a team of people. And we would get together and we would get old magazines and cut up magazines, like, I don't know, quotes from magazines, clothing pieces that we liked, shoes, houses, like, yeah, material things, guys. I mean, these things are things that you want. I mean, I'd be ignorant or I'd be lying if I said I didn't want those things. So we would get some magazines, cut them up, and then put them on a white poster board. And then in the middle of the poster board, or on the very top, I would put my dreams, my dream board. And we would put them all over the house so that we can see these dream boards, these dreams, every single day. And if
your
I'm not
subconscious soaks it up.
Yep. So I know we had a few that we put a house, we put some cars, and a truck. We ended up owning a truck. We purchased our first home, and because we set our minds to it, guys, because these things, our kids were seeing these things. So it'd be, we would be hypocritical if we were telling our kids to dream, but then we weren't backing it up. Does that make sense? So our kids would always ask us, like, "Oh, are we really going to get this house? Are we really going to get this type of car?" And we would tell them, "Yeah, like if you set your mind to it and you put the work behind it, you can get these things." And long and behold, like we got these things. We achieved them. So, I mean, you guys can do this. It's very simple. Again, get those magazines, old magazines that you guys have stashed in your closet or underneath your bed, and start cutting up, guys. Dream. Like, be that 10-year-old little girl that wants that amazing wedding. Like, there's nothing wrong with like wishing that you want or wanting that wedding. You know, even if you want the wedding in Tulum, it's possible. Just set your mind to it. If you want a, I don't know, Land Rover or just a Toyota, like it doesn't have to be a Land Rover. Just write your goals down, put your dreams up in your mirror so that you can see it every day and you start putting the work into it.
And for those of you that are thinking, oh my gosh, this is so materialistic.
Oh my gosh, you reminded me of White Chicks.
This is so materialistic. Oh my gosh, like that's not in the Bible.
Oh my gosh.
It's not good to be wishing for stuff like that. Matthew 7:11. This is Jesus talking, by the way. Mm-hmm. If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask of him?
Mm. Boom.
Dude, God made you a dreamer for a reason.
Right.
God gives you dreams in your heart for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not an evil Father in heaven holding a carrot out in front of you like a horse, you know, with the little fishing pole, like so that you can always chase the carrot forever and never obtain it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we're goal oriented. There's a reason why he made us and wired us that way.
Yep.
You know what I just thought of, Mama? The list that we had made for the house. And I still have it. And matter of fact.
So what's the date on that list that you wrote down?
And if you don't believe me, guys, shoot me a DM. Shoot us a DM on our Instagram page. Or if you have our numbers, text us.
Yeah. And
we will text you and we will put it where we might even just put it on the Instagram post. This list, March 19th, 2021 at 8:19 a.m. Mm-hmm. It says house must-haves. We started this podcast by saying it's important to write it down.
Yep.
House must-haves. Ready?
This was before we even
bought our first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, before. Yeah. Okay. March 19, 2021. Must-haves. Only, capital letters, only West, Upper Valley, or Northeast. Budget max, $300,000. Corner lot. Or lots of space between neighbors. 2,000 square feet around. 4 bedrooms at least, 1 to use as an office. Spray foam insulated, not too old. 2-car garage, open concept, big space. Big, nice kitchen with island. Refrigerated AC. No carpet. Bedrooms okay, but preferably 0. Bright inside. Natural light. Energy efficient windows. And then nice to haves. This is a separate list. White flooring. The lighter the better. It says in parentheses. Pool. Sliding doors to a backyard. Amenities. Surround sound. Security system. Nest temperature stuff, etc. And tile roof.
That Spanish ceramic tile. Roof.
Right.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
That was on the nice to haves list.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, guys? Literally 1 year later, on March 13, 2022, we signed a contract.
2022?
Yeah.
21? No, 22.
Wasn't it?
It was 21.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
I think we moved into the house in the West Side
September
2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, dude, a year after we make the list, we sign the contract and we move in to a house that was brand new, freshly built, that had everything we asked for.
Yep.
Literally everything on this list that we wrote down was in our house.
I think the only thing that didn't was the pool because it was a brand new house.
Well, that was under the nice to haves.
Oh, nice to haves. Okay.
Like the must haves.
Everything.
Every single thing on here.
That's true. Yep.
Made it.
Yep.
Literally, guys.
Yeah.
Every single. I went Mike Tyson real quick. Every single item on our list made it.
Yeah.
Because we wrote it down. It was a goal.
Right.
I think we told the story of how we bought the house.
Right.
We only had $500 and like this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it was a total God thing. God completely showed up and showed out to this. And you know what? So that's another thing, guys, is do your goals align with God's will? Or are you wanting to force God's will onto your goals?
Oof. Say that again.
I can't remember.
No manches.
Rewind it 10 seconds.
Are you trying to force
do your goals align to God's will? Or are you trying to force God's will onto your goals?
Exactly.
Some of you don't get what you're asking for because it is so far from what God wants in your life that He knows it's going to destroy you if you end up going that route. And as an example, look at how many, and I'm not saying this is not a blanket statement, guys. Don't take it wrong. Don't take it out of context. This is just what popped in my head. How many actors, actresses, famous musicians hit it big? How many lottery winners, right?
Yeah.
Make it big, have millions and millions of dollars, and end up worse than before they hit it big.
Yeah.
A lot of sports people, athletes, they make it big, they blow their money, and they end up worse. They claim bankruptcy. Yeah. A lot of actors, actresses, how many have we heard of that committed suicide or that died from overdoses?
Yeah. It's
like money's not everything, guys. Don't take this podcast wrong as in like we're talking about money and we want you guys to make all this money and it's all money, money, money. No. It's, hey, God, let's have a chat real quick. What do you want from my life? What did you design me for? What's my purpose? Show me my purpose. Yeah. And dive into His word and seek His will in your life. Yeah. And please don't take us wrong as like, look at Natalie and I's life. No. This is what happened to us. And look at how we literally held hands in the car when we withdrew the only $500 that we had. We were saving for rent. And we prayed. We bought a money order and we prayed and we were like, God, if this is in your will and this is from you, make it happen and you're going to provide. And if it's not from you, we don't want it. Yeah. Did we not say that?
Yeah, for sure.
We pray that prayer.
Yeah. And guys, it can look different for everyone. This is our story. This is personal. We're just sharing it with you. We're being vulnerable. I mean, do your homework. I mean, if your goal for next year is to buy a house, do your homework. If you have debt, pay it off. Like, don't go into purchasing a home because you want to be like the what's that movie, that show, the Jones,
Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Yeah. No, guys, do it right. Pay off your debt. Save up for that down payment. Save up for the closing costs, because those closing costs can be a lot if you're not ready.
Yeah.
So do your homework. Do your research. If you really want to buy that house, do your homework.
And get yourself an amazing realtor. Shout out Willie Nieves.
Yeah. We'll tag him.
Yeah, we'll tag him.
But yes, guys, I mean, don't be ignorant too, and pray about it as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just our personal testimony and what has worked for us. But I mean, with everything, goals, you got to write them down, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you want a big house or just a small house, like, because you'll be the first one in your family to own a home. Like, it doesn't matter. Just write down these goals. And also, guys, like, yeah, I mean, anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. For example, some of my goals for 2024 is my goal is to read 24 books a year. I'm not trying to, one up my wife. Don't take it wrong, guys. I'm a reader. I like reading.
Right.
So I've done it before. And so it's just my goal. I know it's very attainable for me because I've done it before. Yep. Another goal that I have is losing 45 pounds. I want to get down to 180. I haven't been at 180 since high school. The last time I lost weight on a keto diet was, I want to say like 2017 or 2018 ish. And man, it works amazing. But I just want to be fit, Yeah. The reason I lost that weight before, and I got down to 193 and I started at 223, whatever that is, 30 pounds it is, because we were going to go to the beach. So I wanted to, not look like a whale out there.
Oh my God.
That's me, dude. Like, I wanted my boys, because I have that in my head. Yeah. My boys, since even then, they, if a buff dude would walk by, I'd be like, dang, Dad, did you see those muscles? So I'm like, dude, I want to be admired by my boys. Like, no, that came out wrong. I want to inspire my boys. Right. Yeah, I want them to be proud of their father. Yeah,
which they are, but I get it.
Like physically, sure. Right? Like, dang, like, so
especially right now because they're into looking good themselves. Like they work out themselves too,
right?
So,
but like at the time, they were smaller, and they were, it was like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I want my boys to be proud of me, right? For sure. In that fashion. So I lost the weight. And it started climbing back, right back to where I started. So I'm already one official week into zero sugar. And I will hit it. And I know I can. I've done it before. This time I'm going to maintain it. But this time it's not about looking good. This time is about feeling healthy.
Right.
I turn 38 next year. And I just want to be healthy. I want to feel good. I want to wake up and be in the best shape of my life. We have a home gym now. Shout out Tonal. We have zero excuse.
Right.
So you guys listening, in 6 months from now, in 90 days from now, if I don't look better, y'all have every right to jalarme de las orejas and be like, what happened, Mr. Goal Setting? Yeah, it's just about being healthy for me. I want to feel like I'm healthy.
Same.
Yeah, it's all about my health right now. And yeah, I just want to be in the best shape of my life. Reading, I want to, another goal is I want to be able to play the guitar and sing at the same time. For those of you that can play an instrument and sing, oh my gosh, dude, I admire you so much. It is a total talent. It is a total art form, man. Crazy. Yeah. I can sing now. I'm obviously that's still a work in progress, but I can play the guitar, but doing it both at the same time, that is special, bro. So I will get there. Yes. So by next Christmas, that will be completed. And another goal is to pay off our car.
Awesome.
That's another goal.
Yep.
Because before we bought our house, for those of you that were thinking about when Natalie was talking about, buying the house and putting money aside for this and that, before we bought ours, we paid off our debt, bro.
Yep.
We were very intentional, which is why we only had $500 in the bank, because we were very intentional. We were on rice and beans for a long time so that we can be debt free, so that we can afford a house and not have all these other extra bills. So you have to be smart. If God can't trust you with making a credit card payment, you think he's going to trust you with a house?
Oof.
So be a good steward of what he gives you.
Yep.
So that's just another point there.
Can I add really quickly what my goals are?
Yes, of course.
So other than reading the books, the 12 books, I mean, that's something that I've never accomplished, being honest. I think you're more of the reader than I am. I'll read novels, like juicy stuff. Hey, I'm being honest.
Give me the tea.
I'm being honest. Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I'm not a gossip person. It's just it has to be entertaining for me. So like, I don't know, like Vogue or like fashion stuff. Like I'm good with that. Anyway, so reading the 12 books for the year, I also want to feel healthier. I know I struggle a little bit with energy levels because of my thyroid issues. So I want to do my part. And like Art said, we have the tonal. So I can just go to my garage and work out 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But I want to be more consistent. Because I know that for next year, our plan is to go to Mexico again, to travel with our boys, go to a football game with them. So I want to make sure that I'm feeling good, energized, and that I look good too. I mean, I've always been thin, but I want to gain some muscle. That's my personal goal.
Like tone up.
Tone up, yes. And then I think just be more intentional with the time I spend with the boys, because Alec just turned 17 and Angela's going to be 16 soon next year in a few months. So I want to be there for them as much as I can before they don't want to spend time with us. So yeah, that's so far my goals.
Yeah. Love it.
Yep.
And if you guys noticed, our goals start with why. We know why we want to do what we do, what the goals that we have. Mm-hmm. And it's important that you guys start your goals with why. Don't start with what you want to do. Don't start how you're going to do it. Start with why. Because if you don't know why, it's not going to be long term.
Right.
You're not going to commit. And as soon as it gets uncomfortable, as soon as it's too painful, as soon as it's too inconvenient, you're going to stop.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, I'm willing to bet money that you hear it every year from them. This is the year. New year, new me. Here we go.
Yeah.
Just look at the gyms, guys. Look at the gyms on January 2nd and then take a picture. It's packed. And take a picture of the faces there. And then go back on March 1st.
Don't literally go to the gym and take pictures.
Mental. That would be weird, right? Go to the gym, take a mental picture on January 2nd. Mm. Everyone and their mother's there. And then go back on March 1st. And I'm willing to bet 70% of the people that started in January are not there in March. Because they did not start with why.
Yep.
So as long as you guys know your why, set your goal. If you believe in God, I would highly encourage you guys to pray on it and ask God to guide you in your goals.
Yep.
So that you're fulfilling His purpose for your life.
Yes.
Anything else?
That was it.
hope that helped you guys. Start, set a very achievable goal. Hey man, I want to save $20 a paycheck. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And that will sooner or later turn into, hey, I want to be debt free. Hey, I want to pay off this. I want to, have a $10,000 in my savings.
Yep.
I want to start investing, whatever. But start little by little. I know one of our friends requested a episode on finances.
Yep.
So we can certainly do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we will, because I think January we should start with like a strong financial map on how to, whatever your goal is.
Yep.
And it's very achievable, guys. If you don't believe us, just listen to a couple of Dave Ramsey episodes.
Oh yeah.
He has a podcast. He's on YouTube where they have the millionaire episodes, where his system, the 7 baby step system, helps regular Joe Schmoes like us become millionaires.
Yep. But you got to be intentional. It's going to take some work.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be on rice and beans if you have a lot of debt. I mean, rice and beans, and you got to be okay with it.
Right. You have to be okay with it. Yep. Don't care about what other people think.
Yep.
Because other people ain't going to pay your bills, y'all.
Frijolitos con quesito y arroz mexicano. Y con...
Maruchan.
Maruchan, no, not together. I think more like with a jalapeno on top. Unas zanahorias.
Yeah.
That's bomb. That's like the go-to plate, like the simple... There's nothing wrong with... Like, us Mexicans, we're okay with rice and beans.
Sopita de estrellitas.
Fideo.
Sopita de fideo.
Yeah, simple, guys. Keep it simple.
The alphabet soup.
Try to spell a word with it.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yes, of course. Tortilla with a little bit crispy, burnt with some mayonnaise and some salt.
Oh, con aguacate.
Some aguacate.
Salecita.
Dude, I just got down on a bomb keto bread, avocado, and toast with some what is it? Asadero queso?
Oh yeah.
OMG.
You're a big asadero fan. No, I'm okay. It's not like I have to have it. But you are a big cheese person. Like you like cheese on everything.
Man, if you're a cheese, shout out to my cheese lovers.
Yo me tapo.
No, you know. Yo me destapo porque soy bien caloroso.
No. I'm saying with the cheese.
I know, babe. I was just trying to but you brought it back, so that's on you, girl. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Have an amazing new year. Make 2024 the best year of your life, guys. You can do it. Be specific. DM us any questions.
Be safe.
Love y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.